Part of the reason why you're lacking what you want in life right now is because you're operating at 25% or lower of your potential. There's a quote that I love from Michael Jordan that says, you have to expect things of yourself before you can do them. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about how to believe you are the person who has the results that he wants before you actually are seeing those results. Because a lot of times we limit ourselves. You limit yourself in terms of what you want to earn, in terms of how you want to live your life and the freedom you want to have and how you want to date, what you want to give back to your family and the life that ultimately you want to create for yourself. We limit ourselves unconsciously because there's a side of ourselves, what I call the dark side, that we stay away from and we shy away from. It's a side of ourselves that is a dominant leader, that is assertive, that is angry, that is a warrior. And a lot of times as men, because we're not given tools when we're young to just be that man and have the permission to be that man, which comes with self-improvement, which comes with learning a skill set and mastering a skill set, which comes with pushing yourself to your potential. Because we don't push ourselves to be this version of ourselves, we oftentimes never access it. And this leads to a life of regret, a life where we feel like at 45 years old, which is many of the people I talk to on sales calls, you feel like you haven't accomplished anything and you feel like you're in a place that's stuck. You feel like you are living a life of regret, which we don't want to happen. So you watching this right now, whatever age you're in, however old you are, you have a golden opportunity where you can take charge of how you live. And that's going to happen when you access your dark side, step up into becoming the person that you need to be to access the results that you want to have in the future. Let's go ahead and get into the training. So the first idea that we're going to explore here is called be, do, have. And this is an idea that I actually learned from a client of mine from a self-development group that he was a part of for a while. And it changed my life when I understood this idea more. Be, do, have is the idea that you'll only become what or who you believe you can be. Your dark side isn't a negative feature. So there's all of these videos out that make the dark side seem like this cool, evil thing. And sure, some of it's just clickbait so you can get more clicks on videos. In fact, my thumbnail, I have characters like Bane in the thumbnail. The goal is not for you to be like Bane and become some villain who's hurting people. That's not the goal. But that's so attractive to so many of us as men because those characters that are fully embracing their dark side, and in fact, they're evil, actually. The reason why that's attractive to us is because they're doing things, they're dedicated and pushing themselves in ways that we often as men are simply not doing, right? So that becomes very attractive. It becomes very enticing. I wish I could be like that. But the dark side simply is the unconscious parts of you that you want to achieve success, the unconscious parts of you that are going to lead you to success, but that you hold yourself back from. I'll give you an example with sports. A lot of times, athletes who are performing at the highest level, athletes who are the most successful, what happens is there's a version of themselves, especially fighters this happens to, that they bring out when they're in the cage. They bring out when they're on the pitch. They bring out when they're on the court. And this version of themselves is a maniacal competitor who wants to win and absolutely obliterate the opponent. And especially this happens in fighting, with fighting psychology, people who are boxers, who do MMA, combat sports. There's this wild anger that they tap into that's sitting beneath their soul, beneath the surface, that they tap into when they're in the cage, when they are in the middle of competition. This is the dark side. And what happens is when you're not confronted with something physical like fighting, because the world is very safe. We live in a very safe place. There's no danger immediately to you. Maybe you've experienced danger or experienced trauma, but right now in your life, probably by the fact you're watching this video, you have a very cushy, comfortable life. So that dark side becomes a lot harder to find. And in fact, the same thing happened to me. Before I started making money where I was hitting 15, 20K per month consistently in my business and as a salesperson, what happened was I would always struggle with these highs and lows of motivation. And it was only until I became one with the dark side and one with the side of me who believed I deserved the success, and believed not just that I deserved it, but that I am the person who will achieve 50 to 100K per month consistently. It was only until I genuinely believed that and embodied that in my actions, in the way I communicated, in the way I behaved. It was only then that I began to see those results. So what you need to do is become one with this dark side. It's not that you need to become this evil, scary person and this over dramatic behavior sequence. It's not that, but it's realizing that there's a version of you who wants to win at all costs, a version of you that wants to do what it takes to get to the next level and achieve success. The question is, are you willing to become that version? What we're going to do is look at one of the most important steps that's going to get you there, and something that you're doing right now. I know this because I've struggled with this myself, and we a lot of times struggle with this as men, and it prevents us from getting success. And that's what we call imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is not believing that you deserve success or achievement because of your effort or skills. So it's saying that the skill set's here, or the effort is here, but what you deserve is down here. It's so important that you attack imposter syndrome in your life, because imposter syndrome is the antithesis, it's the opposite of you believing that you are the man who deserves to have success. It's the exact opposite. So it's saying, I'm doing all this work, I'm reading the books, I'm in the courses, I'm getting the coaching, I'm working on the business, I'm working on my skill set, but I don't in my heart actually believe that I'm the person who deserves to make this money, or I don't believe that I'm the person who deserves to date this attractive woman, or I don't believe that I deserve to lead. If you're in sales, as a lot of sales pros struggle with, I don't believe that I deserve to put my prospects in the best position to succeed because I don't actually see myself as a leader. You must attack imposter syndrome. For a long time, imposter syndrome held me back from my goals. I was capped at $4,000 to $5,000 a month in my business consistently until I overcame imposter syndrome. Because what imposter syndrome does is it tells you that you don't deserve to make more money. It says because you're not the person who would actually make that money. And a lot of times this is attached to traumas from the past. It can even be micro trauma. It doesn't need to be something aggressive like physical or mental abuse. It could just be someone telling you when you're a kid that you're not good, and someone telling you you're not good at what you do. Or it could be, someone that you look up to or someone that you respect not validating an accomplishment that you had when you were younger, something that you thought was amazing that they didn't validate. In my case, I had a bit of this. I dealt with certain people in my life who told me what you're doing right now isn't high quality. What you're doing isn't good. You're not a professional. You're not making a positive impact on the world. And because I heard that, I began to believe that I didn't actually deserve to be at 10, 15K per month consistently, 20, 50K per month. It was only until I attacked imposter syndrome. Here's what to do. You attack imposter syndrome by doing more than you believe you normally can do, because imposter syndrome is going to completely stop your growth. It's going to completely stop you getting to where you want to be. So it was only until I began to do more and challenge myself to do more and to speak higher of myself, as an example, to charge higher rates. It was only until that point where I began to believe that I actually deserved success. So as an example, I remember the key moment where I actually beat imposter syndrome in one area of my life relating to money. My mentor, shout out Caleb, my mentor who taught me a lot, who taught me pretty much everything I know about mindset relating to money and success. One of the things that he taught me was you need to increase your prices and stop charging what you feel is comfortable. So I would always charge people for mentorship and coaching, and I would say, it's going to be $2,500 for 3 months of one-on-one coaching with me. And I would give a bunch of sessions and all these things. And I loved coaching. I'm a great coach. I love serving people. And I was teaching men dating, relationships, and mindset work. So I was helping them attract higher quality women by believing in themselves more and becoming better communicators and better leaders. And what's so interesting is I remember the moment where I had to confront imposter syndrome. My mentor told me, he said, I want you to double your price today. And you can either do that by having people on a retainer that's going to be $1,000 to $1,500 per month, or you can charge them an upfront fee of $6,000. I could pick anyone that I wanted, and I started having those numbers out of my mouth on calls. When people would say, okay, this sounds really good, how much is it to work with you? I would say $6,000. And I would say that number out loud. People ended up buying. And it took my business from being under six figures, staying around 50, 60K, to eventually doing $150,000 in a year, which was more money than I had ever made in my life. But the reason I was able to do this is because I attacked imposter syndrome with a vicious anger. And that came from my dark side. It came from my dark side of me willing myself and believing that I actually deserved that number, that I deserved to make that kind of money. One thing that I want you to do that's going to help you is spend an hour or two every single week positively journaling. So instead of you just being trapped in your head, battling yourself, go into a cafe or go to a area that feels really good to you, an area that you feel inspired by, an area that motivates you to succeed, and where you feel like you're at peace and where you feel like you're inspired. Maybe there's cool people nearby, or the environment's really cool, or it's a luxury environment. Take a notebook and journal on who you need to be in order to be at your goals. Don't journal on some dreams and fantasies. Journal actually on who you need to be and who you are going to become, who's going to earn the money, where you're hitting $20,000 a month, where you're dating your dream girl, where you're traveling and relocating to a place in Europe or Asia or South America, somewhere that feels amazing for you to live, where the culture's good and the people are beautiful and kind. Like, journal on this, but don't journal on the fantasy of it. Journal on who you need to be. Who does that person exist as in the future, and how do you bring that into the present, right? What do they do in terms of how they communicate? How much money do they make? What kind of business practices do they have? What time do they wake up in the morning? Who is their girlfriend? Who are the people they're dating? Who are their friends? That version of you, journal on that and paint a picture of it, not a literal picture, but paint a picture with words and speak on that person as you journal. Take one time per week, every single week, and do this for 2 hours. Sit and journal in a conscious place and just write. Fill up 10, 20 pages with a narrative and a story around who this future person is. The third step, the thing that I love to do here and that has really changed everything and helped me tap into the raw side of myself, is getting momentum and focusing on momentum over motivation. So momentum is what's going to carry you forward, but motivation is unreliable. Remember this. Momentum is going to carry you forward. Momentum is what's going to get you success, along with you waking up and realizing your potential and setting a higher standard for yourself by overcoming imposter syndrome. Adding in momentum, which I'll explain here, is what's actually going to get you the success, because motivation and always needing to feel motivated, needing to feel good is unreliable. Motivation happens in the moment. There's two kinds of momentum that I really like to focus on, two things that really help me. There's physical momentum and mental momentum, okay? So physical momentum is what we call non-negotiable lifestyle protocols. Physical momentum are things that you actively do in your life, boundaries you set for yourself that you actively do that are going to help you move forward and wake up out of the haze, which we're going to talk about more in a second. So I'm always going through different protocols in my life that are going to essentially change the way that I interact with the world, and they're going to give me momentum that's going to help me move my goals forward. So I'm doing these things consistently. Here's a few examples. The gym, that's one. I just came back from the gym. I go to the gym 5 to 6 days a week. Depending on how my body's feeling, I'll go 6. If I feel really great and if I feel very rested, I'll go 6 days. Minimum, I'm going 5. 5 is if I feel terrible. So I'm always going to the gym consistently through the week. Now, gym is one of them. And I go immediately when I wake up, I walk my dog, and I head to the gym first things. And I keep my phone on airplane mode. I'm not distracted by anything, no work, no conversations with people before I head to the gym. And I give my body the first priority, my well-being and my feeling the first priority of the day. So an example is the gym. That's what I do. Waking up early is another one. So for me, I have something I call my 8-hour sleep cycle. So sometimes I have to go to bed late because I'm working with clients that are in the West. that are in the US. I live in Hungary. So I'll work with clients that are in the US, and I'll be on a consulting or a sales call for one of my clients. So I'll have to do a call maybe at 2, 3 a.m. I want to put in as much work as I can, so sometimes the schedule has to change. Now, what I'll do is I have something called the 8-hour sleep cycle. So I'll black out the room, and I'll also put on eye protection or eye mask so that I can't see any light, so that I'm getting proper sleep. My circadian rhythm isn't necessarily fucked, and I'll wake up within 8 hours. So it has to be an 8-hour sleep cycle, no more. So you could do this if you're going to bed at, let's say, 10, that means you should be waking up at 6. If you're going to bed at 12, that means you should be waking up by 8. I want to get a full 8 hours of sleep. Combat sports is another one. You can see my gloves are back there. And I'm off and on with this, but I'm hiring a trainer so I can actually work on fighting more and work on being present and grounded in my body when it comes to putting my body on the line and getting hit. And I understand body movement. I understand how to fight. I also played a lot of sports growing up. I played baseball and basketball and a little bit of football, but primarily baseball and basketball. But adding in combat sports is huge, and it's a ritual, a rite of passage that you need to go through as a man, which I'm taking on myself. So I'm leading by example, and I'll be sharing more of those things here on YouTube as I share more of what I do personally. Cold showers is another big one. Cold showers is simply explained. You get in the shower, you make it cold. You can do this gradually. You can warm it up slowly, or make it colder slowly at a time until it's easy for you to just immerse yourself in the cold. What I do is I like to fill up the tub with full cold water, possibly throw in some ice as well, depending on the time of day and how much time I've got. I'll go out and grab a bag of ice, throw it in the tub, and I'll sit and immerse myself in it for 3 to 5 minutes. Sometimes I'll do a little bit longer, and I'll do a meditation while submersed in the cold. Lower my body temperature. Then what you can do is sauna. You can combine that. I'm not a fan of sauna. Personally, I do not like how it feels. I feel very uncomfortable and I get headaches and some people would say push yourself, but for me, it's not a thing for me for right now. But sauna is another thing you can look into. And I have a lot of friends who are into biohacking and use the sauna, and it's super great for them. So physical momentum is one. The second part of this is mental momentum. Mental momentum is also lifestyle protocols, but it's the battle of your mind. It's making sure that your mind is on point and that your mind is sharp so that you can get to where you want to be more efficiently, and that you are not only relying on motivation and like, I need the motivational content to get you to where you need to be. So mental momentum is eliminating scrolling. That's a huge one, where you're not on the phone just scrolling 24/7, removing that from your life. No FAP, staying away from porn, conscious journaling, which I talked about early on when I mentioned, getting over imposter syndrome. This is a great exercise for that. Sitting and journaling on who you need to be, who you are becoming. And then active meditation. This is the fourth one. So I'm always meditating while I'm on calls. I treat my day-to-day life as a meditation and as an act of presence with people around me and the actions I take in my day-to-day life. I'll make an entire video on this that's really going to help you get better with everything that you do and help you achieve more success. Take on activities that lead to momentum and don't rely on motivation. This is the secret. This is where you're going to make the biggest change. If you're constantly relying on motivation and I need to feel good before I can take action, I need to feel good before I can get to where I want to be, you're always going to be limiting yourself because you don't have control over motivation. Motivation is a feeling and you don't have control over your feelings. You can put your feelings into context. You can work on developing a better relationship to situations. You can work on even accessing more motivation, but you don't have control over it. What you do have control over is the actions you do. And you do have control over creating lifestyle momentum for yourself, which is why I'm able to produce content at a high level. I'm able to close at a high level. I'm able to run my businesses and connect with people at a high level. It's because I'm always in a state of momentum. And by the way, I want to say two things. One, I have nothing to sell you. So at the end of this video, I'm going to share with you a lot more value here, and we're going to get really deep in a second. There's nothing I have to sell you. What I really want you to do is subscribe. That's really how you can help yourself. Subscribe because I make free training. There's tons of courses out there that you're going to pay like $9.97 for and all this shit where they give you basically the same stuff I'm giving you here, literally. And it's not even much more detailed. So if you want that level of value and that level of growth and that level of awareness and coaching, subscribe so that you can see when I'm putting out trainings and you can commit to backing yourself and making a change in your life. Second thing is, if you want to talk to me, hit me up on Instagram. I respond to every single message that I get. Hit me up on Instagram at oxytim, oxy.tim. Hit me up there. You and I will chat. If you have a question about anything, I'm more than happy to respond to you. And I send audio messages back and forth. We'll chat there and I'll give you some value so you can grow and be on your journey. That's my goal. I want to help you. So step number 4, the thing that can help you awaken the dark side and get to where you want to be is get ambitious, angry, and assertive. The 3 A's. Lead yourself. You must lead yourself before you can lead others, whether this is in sales or leading your team in business. You must be able to lead yourself, my friend. It starts with you. You must become the leader of yourself before you can lead anyone else and tell others what to do or make people better or close deals at a very high level. You must be able to lead yourself. And you do this by taking a stand against forces that want to keep you in the haze. Every time you take on risk and you move forward, you move into the right frame of your life. So every time you take on a small risk where you push against the haze, some people call it the matrix, the haze, the aspects of reality and of the world that want to keep you down. And it's not even that there's a conscious trying to keep you down by specific individuals, but there is a conscious vibration in society where people are looking for comfort. They're looking for safety. They're looking for someone to coddle them, for everything to just be okay, where they never ever break through and actually achieve greatness and get to the next level. I don't want that to happen to you. So every single time that you take on risk and every single time that you move forward, you move into the right frame for your life, because most people don't realize that the biggest battle is against yourself. That's the biggest battle that you're ever going to take on. It's the battle against yourself. It's No one else but you. It's always your mind. You know what a good example of this is? Today, me and a young friend of mine, shout out Sully, we were in the gym and he joined my workout today. And I tend to do a very aggressive core workout. I like working out the abs quite a bit, getting the core strong. You know, looks good for the ladies. And I like looking at myself in the mirror and looking good, feeling good in my body. So we were doing planks today. We did a pretty aggressive routine where we did about 170 sit-ups within the span of 5 minutes. And then we did 2 minutes of planks with minimal rest, 2 back-to-back plank sets, 2 minutes. And he was like shaking. And this kid's awesome. And he doesn't have the strongest core. He's building his core. And I build core with him. We do it every Wednesday. And he's shaking and like vibrating like, oh my God, this is crazy. This is going to kill me. And we're in the middle of the plank. And I look over to him and I say, Sully, this is in your mind. It's not real. The pain isn't real. It's in your mind. Now, is the pain real? Yes, sure. You could see it as real. Or you could choose to say it's in my mind and it's not real. It's not actually happening. And you can treat the pain as an exercise in stillness, as an exercise in risk, an exercise in confronting pain, an exercise in confronting your battles and confronting the demons that go on in your head, which is mental pain, right? So went through the exercise. He killed it. He didn't think he could. He collapsed on the ground and he did it. Tons of 4 minutes of planks. Incredible, right? So the biggest battle is going to be in your mind. Every single day that you win the war of your mind, you're taking a stand against the haze and you're taking a stand for yourself, because it's those people who step out of the haze and step out of the preconditioned narrative. It's those people that are going to get the success. It's those people who say, I'm going to create a life for myself that is beyond the norm of what everyone just does and what is just expected of me by society for me to fit in, keep my head down and do the right thing. That takes you going to war against your own mind. It takes you battling the forces that want you to be comfortable, and your mind seeks out that comfort. Your mind is going to seek out, the easy way because it's natural, right? It's a dopamine fix. You're evolutionarily designed to look for comfort. You're not designed to want the hardest path forward. Unfortunately, because the way the world works now, you have everything comfortable for you, just handed to you on a freaking device, right? So you have to go against that if you're going to win the battle and if you're going to step out of the haze and start to make more money, start to achieve freedom, start to get the life that you want. The other side of this, step number 5, coming to an end here, is realizing that the dark side, which really is the part of you that's ambitious, the part of you that's assertive, the part of you that's angry, those 3 A's, realizing that the dark side is the key to your future because it really contains the keys to you getting everything that you want. You must be one with your dark side if you want success. Business is war. Business is war, and it's not war against the people you're selling. It's war against your mind. Sales is war. Every time I get on a sales call, every time I get on a call with the buyer I talk to people who are earning $100K per month, $200K per month, and they want to invest in a self-development program and a mindset training program. And I have to get over their fears, and I have to have them realize that investing $20,000 or $10,000 in this is something that is going to change your life, and they don't see it. I'm going to war against my own mind when I close deals. In order for me to bring in my 15K, 20K in sales per month for myself and my family, I have to go to war in my mind. I literally have to battle myself every single call where it's like, just give up now. Don't have that tough conversation. Don't put the prospect in a position where they have to look at their fear. I could walk away from each call and I could not have that conversation, but I accept the responsibility of pushing myself forward so that I can create the life that I want and have the freedom that I want outside of a haze. Because at the end of the day, my friend, it is a war against yourself. You are battling yourself, and you must win in your mind and then find the dark side, which is going to be the key to you getting to where you want to be. Okay? I'm rooting for you. I want to see you win. I want you to have all the success in the world. Soon, we're going to have a community. I can't say when because we're taking a bit of time to build it. We're taking the time. We're not going to rush it. I'm going to build a community that's going to really help you change everything in terms of how you earn money. Not some bullshit 10K per month with my principles of business. Not that. Not at all. But we're going to understand and learn self-mastery and how to master oneself and step out of the haze and take control of your own emotions, and then learn principles related to sales, handling objections, leadership, setting the right frame with prospects so you can combine business and or sales if you are a sales professional and self-mastery into this beautiful combination where you have everything that you want using my support and using accountability of a powerful tribe of men. That's what we're building, and we'll have that ready to go in the next couple of weeks. So you'll see that from me here on YouTube, and I'm excited to share it with you. Okay, be blessed, take care, and I will see you on the next training. I appreciate your time. It's time to work. It's time to wake up and step out of the haze. Let's go. Let's crush it. Let's build.